Hi there YouTube, my name is Glittery Jigsaw, but you can also call me Danny, and this is my first blog on YouTube. I'm planning on doing lots of beauty things and fashion things and stuff like that, but I thought for my first blog I would use one of the tags I've seen around, one on Bubs Beauty, which is things I tell my teenage self. I'm 27 years old now, so I haven't been a teenager for about 8 years, nearly 9, which is quite worrying when I think about it actually. Not getting old, I'm not getting old. And yeah, it really spoke to me because, you know, everybody thinks that, you know, when they were a teenager, everything seemed like so sorted and, you know, you knew what you were doing and everything you made, like, decisions-wise was right. Obviously, with age comes experience, and looking back now, I did some silly things and I thought some silly things, and I feel like going back and shaking myself sometimes, but, you know, what can you do? And so this is my way of rectifying any mistakes I may have made in the past. Not that they're mistakes, because obviously I am where I am now and I love my life, but if I could go back and give myself some advice, these are what things I would tell myself. The first one would be to not worry so much about what other people think about you. I know it's a lot easier said than done, but as a teenager I thought I was a bit weird. I didn't think that people really liked me for who I was, and they probably didn't at the time because I wasn't acting myself. I used to tell a lot of lies, make myself out to be a lot more interesting than I probably was, although in reality I was probably a lot more interesting than I was making out. So I would go back and say, you know, if someone doesn't like you, don't worry about it, just move on. For every one person you dislike that you meet or dislikes you, you're going to meet 10 people that you really like. And those people that do like you are going to be your friends later on. Some of my best friends now I've known since school, and if you think I was in a year with about 250 other people, I speak to about 4 of them. And you know what, those 4 people, I wouldn't swap them for the rest of the 246 that were there. The second thing I would tell myself would be to wear shorter skirts and more revealing clothes. When I was a teenager, I was what they called a grunger, so I listened to kind of rock music and wore really baggy trousers, like really heavy makeup, and yeah, there's no photos from that time because my mum and dad were so embarrassed by me, and looking back now, yeah, nostalgia, I was like, oh, and I guess it's the same with like a lot of teenage fashion today that I just don't get it, so they probably sort of the same thing. But if I think back to how I looked then, and you know, and how good I would have felt about myself now, you know, I wish I'd been a bit more girly and taken a bit more time, because although now I have more money to spend, I'd look like a bit of a plonker going into Topshop and buying some of the clothes that they wear now. The third thing I would tell myself would be to stop being so bloody lazy. My mum and dad and my whole family, in fact, used to really like get on my nerves, you know, because I'd stay in bed late and I wouldn't follow through with anything, and I'd start a project and I wouldn't finish it. And to a degree I have to say I'm still like that now, but I understand now that if I want something done, I've got to do it, because no one's going to pick it up for me. I was given a lot of really, really good opportunities when I was younger to be a journalist. Things like work experience at quite well-known magazines, opportunities to submit articles and do things for sort of well-known sort of, you know, writing things, and building up a portfolio, which I would start and then I would get bored and I wouldn't end up following through with it. And although I love my life now and all my decisions I've made have led me to where I am now, I wish I'd just sort of gone back and tried a little bit harder and given a little bit more care and attention to it, because I probably would have ended up in the same sort of place, but, you know, with a very different kind of career path. Not that I dislike my job, but yeah, I could have been a world-famous journalist or a travel writer or something now, but no, that's not the case, but I don't really mind. The fourth thing I would tell myself is the boy that you're seeing right now, the one that you think you're going to spend the rest of your life with, don't. When I was a teenager, I had a very serious relationship with a guy from the age of about 17 up until I was about 20, just shy of 21. And at the time it was fantastic, I thought it was great, and looking back now into how my husband treats me, and where the guy himself has actually ended up, yeah, I wasted a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of money looking after him and sort of catering to his every whim. I know that as a teenager I was quite boy crazy. I always fancied someone. I was always like, oh, I love him, I love him. And actually thinking about it now, there's a couple more boys that this could apply to. But at the end of the day, you know, you shouldn't have to work for a relationship that hard. It should be easy. You should work at your relationships, obviously, but it shouldn't have to be an uphill struggle the whole time, you know. And yeah, and always make sure he pays his rent, because otherwise he's going to bugger off and you're going to end up with a bill. So yeah, I mean, that was slightly more my 20s rather than my teenage years, but you get what I mean. And the fifth thing I would tell myself, I guess, would just be to just appreciate my mum a little bit more. She died about 5 years ago now, and obviously it's really sad. And I look back now and I think I could have learned so much more from her than I actually did. I spent a lot of time with her arguing and you know, sort of clashing, because we're quite alike. You know, we kind of we would sort of, you know, there'd be a lot of friction and stuff because we would obviously be quite similar in a lot of things, but I would just go back and just appreciate her a bit more. I mean, we didn't end on bad terms or anything like that, but I go back, I wish I could go back and ask her like a million questions now, and we would have had, I think, a lot better relationship knowing what I know now. But I guess that's the sort of ability of hindsight, that you kind of, you know, think, oh, I better know better now. So so yeah, so those are the things I would tell my teenage self. We'd really love to hear other people's responses and what they thought they could tell themselves going forward. And yeah, so I'm hopefully going to be uploading some more videos. I might do a couple more tags just to sort of put a bit of content on my channel, and then see where we go from there. Alright, see you soon, bye!